Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. How are you guys doing today? I'm Jason Moore from MakingStarWars.net, and today we have some Star Wars news. Up front, I lost Rob. I had Rob in the chat. I said I was running a few minutes behind, and then I never heard from him again. I suspect foul play, but I want you guys to know I didn't do it. Whatever happened to Rob, I didn't do it. I'm sure he'll be here pretty soon. But yeah, we have some pretty interesting Star Wars news as far as old stuff coming into new stuff and really new stuff from about a year or two away from now, but they're casting. So let's get into the casting stuff first, since Rob's not here. Because I'm just going to basically, sift the article. And so we'll do that first and see what you guys think. So up front, one little thing that I wanna throw out there. Let me see what looks better. I can't tell, but one little thing that I want to throw out there is the Illuminati ran this story first, and I don't know how big the Illuminati is, but I know the Illuminati in context of the trades is a little guy, and the trades have done this to me lots of times. What's happened is the Illuminati has run this scoop, and then the trades either got the same scoop way later, hours later, or just literally read it from the Illuminati and co-opted it as an exclusive. I had a story one time where I said that Migs Mayfield is returning in Mando season 2. Oh, and that guy from Terminator, John Connor's dad, he's in it too. And I put those together just because I had him. I had I had Mayfield returning for a while, and I felt like it was a bit of a cheap scoop because it was like you could just guess it. I didn't want to be like one of those people on Twitter who pretends to be a scooper who's just like, reductionist logic. He'll be back. Let's just say he's going to be back, and we'll probably be right. So I didn't want to do that. I don't do that. So I sat on Burr returning. And then when I got that the dude from Terminator 1 was going to be in Mando in the Ahsoka episode, I was like, ooh, this is a good one. I was like, you know what? I'll just put it in there, put them together. I'll make it a sexier scoop. Well, then one of the trades goes in right after, runs it with both of those guys together too, which you wouldn't have done. There was no logic in putting those two together. The episodes didn't film together. Like, it was literally just, they read the article, asked somebody, is that true? Maybe they did that, got confirmation of it. Maybe, probably not. And then went and said, oh, exclusive. And I threw a little hissy fit. I try not to throw the hissy fits, but boy, when I'm getting ripped off, when I've done actual legwork and then they do that, oh, it pisses me off, And anyways, in this instance here, Illuminati has the scoop, and the trades are running the scoop as if it's theirs. It's not. It's the little guys, and they're getting ripped off by the trades again, by lazy trust fund babies from Ivy League schools who got placed in the Hollywood elite because their parents did cocaine together. I mean, that's usually how it seems to go anyway. So, yeah, fuck those people, but good work on the Illuminati for this scoop, which is a real thing. I'm going to even throw it out there that this is probably a done deal. They probably just haven't actually signed. The Acolyte, Lucasfilm in advanced negotiations with Amandla Stenberg to play mysterious lead character, exclusive, by Caitlin Tyrell, who got the scoop, not the trades. And so I guess if you're a Hunger Games person, then you know that Rue was just a little tiny Rue at one point. It is now a big Rue and going to have her own Star Wars series, it looks like. All these, I've seen all these comments from people going, Rue's really growing up, and I'm like, yeah, because she was hungry in the Hunger Games, and then she ate, and now she's big. I don't know. I don't know anything about that shit. But anyways, Star Wars has a number of compelling new projects heading to Disney Plus. I can tell you guys there are a lot more coming to a Disney Plus than people know. But one, oh yeah, actually, Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that. I said it first though, not trying to be a little me first kind of guy, but a lot's coming to Manhattan Beach. Let's put it that way. But one has drawn excitement and speculation ever since Disney Investor Day in 2020. The Acolyte is a new Star Wars Disney Plus series being helmed by Leslie Headland, who serves as showrunner and writer on the upcoming series. The Acolyte will be exploring a yet untouched era in Star Wars, specifically the end of the High Republic era. Star Wars has been developing the High Republic through an ongoing series of novels and comics, but so far the focus has been on this era at the height of its power and prosperity. The Acolyte will instead be set further during the final days of the High Republic era and dig into the emergence of the dark side. And that's what I mean. I wish Rob was here. Honestly, I miss the little fucker right now. Just wondering what he's doing. I didn't do it though. It wasn't me. But he despises the general look of the Old Republic. Thinks that, you know, it's not a very Star Wars look. Everything's too clean and blah blah blah. I get it, but that's the I'm not crazy about it either. I mean, it honestly to me looks like shit. To be honest with you, like I see these colors and just the look. I just don't like it. If it works for you, that's great. You know, I hope it does because something doesn't bring me joy doesn't mean I don't want it to bring you joy. That said. It being set at the end of the High Republic means they don't have to adhere to any of this shit, really. When you get down to it, I mean, they are laying this out as if it's a thing. It's probably not really going to be that big of a thing. I could be wrong, but it would not surprise me if we end up just seeing it kind of look more like the Phantom Menace, maybe with even a better aesthetic, because Doug Chiang and the artists have had years to refine what Star Wars is. So the new series is still shrouded in mystery, aside from it taking place roughly 200 years before the events of the Skywalker saga, meaning Phantom Menace. This likely means it will focus on new characters and dynamics like the High Republic novels and comics have, other than Yoda. For the record, when I was hearing that they wanted to make a film, Yoda was the main carrot on the stick for that. So I imagine Yoda is going to play into this shit, to be honest with you. I expect Yoda will be in the High Republic series Acolyte. I really do. And with the series being a mystery thriller, which will reportedly include martial arts elements, it already stands out from the much of the upcoming Star Wars projects, blah, blah, blah. So not much is known about the lead role in Acolyte. It had been revealed that they had been searching for a woman of color in her late teens, early 20s, athletic, who is able to handle the physical demands of this role, as it will include martial arts. So, in case anybody's wondering, in my opinion, that's Terrace Kasi, friends. That's right. Remember Terrace Kasi? That was the 1997 PlayStation game, I want to say. And boy, did it suck, but it came out the right time that it was just a good time. Me and my best friend, we used to just play it all the time, even though it was terrible, because it was a Star Wars game and they were rare, but we also loved fighting games, you know? And anyways, but we saw it reemerge in Solo: A Star Wars Story with Kira and those cats doing it. And so in Solo: A Star Wars Story, we see this like almost like link between Terrace Kasi and the Sith. They're not Sith yet. They're essentially in the lineup, almost like acolytes, you know. Maul wants to return to the Sith, and but they use Terrace Kasi as sort of the shortcut in a way for the Sith kind of stuff. It's not magic, it's martial arts, but it definitely leads into what you see Maul become. And I'm going to imagine it's more of a thing for the Sith than we're going to think as we move on and we see this stuff cultivated. If Solo: A Star Wars Story is doing it with Maul, and then we have Solo: A Star Wars Story, and then we have it in an Acolyte, it's definitely going to be a little bit of a precursor. So in case anybody was wondering, I didn't do it because look, Rob is alive. I totally didn't kill him. I didn't murder Rob. He's alive. So no one could say I tried to kill him because I didn't do it.
It's what I get for not liking a Rancor. You know what I mean? Like he threw me in the pit.
I don't know can you guys hear Rob in the chat? Because I can't hear Rob, and I don't know if that's just me. It might just be me though. Sometimes, I said on my computer, I got this. I think it's Rob.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm going to continue reading for a second.
Can't hear me.
So we at the Illuminati previously revealed that the character's name is Aura in the Acolyte, although it's possible that it's a code name. And Aura, I have to say, I'm going to guess that it's a code name. Usually in casting, they don't use the real names, but sometimes crazy shit happens, you know. So I wouldn't die on a hill for it, you know what I mean? But according to our sources, Lucasfilm Limited is in talks with Amanda Stenberg to take on the lead role of the mysterious new Star Wars Disney Plus series, The Acolyte. And it's all Acolyte.
I don't know. I don't know why it's not.
So then it gives us some information because I don't really know much about it, honestly. I didn't watch the Hunger Games stuff. Shit was pretty boring to me, honestly. Amanda Stenberg's breakout role came from her second feature role as Rue in 2012 film adaptation of the Hunger Games. And I will say, I think it's probably a really good idea because when Lucasfilm first went after the sequel trilogy, hey Rob, can we hear you?
Can you?
Yeah, I can. But
same, no difference. Just left and came back in.
Yeah, for some reason you're coming through my computer speakers, but whatever. I'll just put it on my. Okay. Anyways, I fixed it. So when Lucasfilm was going after the sequel trilogy actors and trying to cultivate that program, one of the things that Disney had figured out was that Star Wars wasn't growing anymore. Star Wars had completely. It had hit. It had all its fans. And it was only thing that it had left was new fans, and they knew that a certain percentage of boys were going to jump on board because of the laser swords, no matter what it did. And so one of the reasons that you have a lot of the guys who call people SJWs and mention soy a lot, angry at the sequel trilogy at the time, was because they weren't going after them. They were going after that Hunger Games audience because that Hunger Games pie was meaty, and they wanted that money, and they did get it. They did get a lot of it. And so what I see here is an extension of the end. I don't know if end game is the right way to put it, but late game version of it is let's get an actor who is completely recognizable, perhaps beloved, I'm assuming, from the Hunger Games franchise, bring him into Star Wars as a lead role. And I think this is a good fit considering that model because she was apparently a child in that movie. In that series, and then now she's young 20s, maybe late teens, I can't tell, but so it adds up. And so while much of the Acolyte's lead is still a mystery, we have speculated that she will be a Sith apprentice or Acolyte, and I think that's a total given. I mean, unless it's like everyone's like, who's the Acolyte? There's a new Sith Acolyte on the streets. Who could it be? I don't know. I want that golden ticket. Unless it's like that, I don't think it's going to be. I would imagine that she is the one who's going to be like some Sith Lord to come out there and be like, Rue, are you hungry? Are you from the Hungry Games? Let me feed you heapfuls like I fed Jason Ward. And then she's going to take it, become a Sith. Right, Rob? Right?
You're hyped up today.
Yeah, you left me to my own devices,
bro. I was there the whole time. Twitter just never sent me your message. Like just sitting there waiting. He's still getting ready, huh? Like I've been here since 11:30.
yeah. I was like sending things. And I was like, hey,
I do not know.
I figured you thought, oh, I meant like an hour or something. I was like, shit. I hope not. But
no, I just didn't update.
Yeah.
I mean, it's casting. Like it's cool. I when you are right about how it had hit some Star Trek territory in terms of its fan base sort of aging and not growing.
Yeah.
However, I also think that's because I feel like Disney and Lucasfilm sort of overlook how young. How do I say this? There's a giant contingent of now early 20-year-olds who grew up with the Clone Wars
Mm-hmm.
that are clone trooper people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when I went to my cousin's house, my nephew is sitting there and he's like, "Clone troopers are the best Star Wars characters ever. That's it." And there's no, I mean, like, man, this fucking kid, dude. Like, so I could see how they're like, yeah, but that isn't the clone troopers people ain't changing Comic Con. It's where the Hunger Games and Twilight folk fucking were changing the game. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it. I mean, there's growth potential there. I'm all for it. What's what's crazy though is I'm not saying that their fan base hasn't lasted, but I don't see Hunger Games cosplay at conventions at least in 4 or 5 years, right?
Right. Right. Well,
Like it seems that their fan base was the Marvel fans actually is a real crossover. Like I don't know how many exclusive to Hunger Games people. Now, because this person was in there, perhaps, but I don't know, you know?
mhm. Oh,
So
and if you want to troll Hunger Games fans, call it the Hungry Games. By the way, they hate that. I
I'm
love
not
to do that.
trolling, man. I mean, everyone has their
Me.
thing,
No,
dude.
no, no,
Like,
no. I would do this in when I was in grad school. People would be like, "Hey, bro, you read the Hunger Games?" I'm like, "Man, I'm actually reading about 800 to 500 to 800 pages a week right now, and I want to die. So I haven't touched the Hunger Games. They're all the Hunger Games. Yeah, yeah. So are you enjoying the Hunger Games? But I've tried to watch one of the movies with my
I
sister
am
one
hungry.
time.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried to watch one of the movies I watched one of the movies one time, and yeah, it was pretty stupid. I felt like it was just
It's
really
it's
stupid.
probably what my girlfriend felt like when I dragged her to see Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
You know, just
yeah,
wasn't for her demographic. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, and
But
I'm like, but it's amazing.
I think you're totally right about what the demos are. How I think this works functionally in Hollywood, though, is more like when they cast a major actor to be in a cartoon, so the actor can do the cartoon press junket side of it, and everyone's like,
Right.
"Oh, I know
Yeah.
Seth Rogen. He's
Yeah.
hilarious. I'm going to go see that DreamWorks picture." And essentially, I think that if this works similar to that, of course, she will be a lead role where you actually see, and there's way more. It's way more
What
important than that. But
what song will
functionally,
she be singing on TikTok?
she's like,
Like,
"Welcome to the new world,
oh, don't do that to
Acolyte,
her. She doesn't. Come on,
Acolyte.
come on, don't do that to
I
her.
used to be hungry, but now I'm on a diet. I'm
Let's pick.
Acolyte.
Let's pick a
Acolyte."
beat. Let's pick a Beatles song to
Yeah.
Maxwell House Stove, dude. She'll have the hammer. You know.
Want to hear my John Lennon hot take? They released an acoustic EP over the summer, I think, of John Lennon stuff. And it has this montage of every version of "Oh Yoko." I gotta say, man, if whether you love Yoko or you hate Yoko, if you divorce yourself from the idea of Yoko and just listen to that song, it's so good. Like the acoustic versions of it, especially, it's just very good. And I think
John's a
it's one of his
talent.
best. Yeah, he
You
is.
know.
He is.
Yoko bringing a bed into the recording studio while they're working. Probably not.
Was it even? I mean, like you've been watching Get Back, right?
I
You
watch
watched
all
it,
of it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Yoko wants to be there. I think John Lennon's like, I need my mommy. I'm gonna write a song in a few years called "Mother," where I just scream "Mother," but I want you there beside me. And
At
because
the end of the
she's like
day,
reading a
bro.
fucking book. She's just like, yeah, cool. You're writing Get Back, Paul. Fucking scrambled eggs, bitch. Like she doesn't even
If
want to.
Linda Ronstadt is on set with George Lucas every day for the prequels, annoyingly, I hold George responsible. It's his show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I've had friends with annoying girlfriends I've had to suffer through. Believe me, believe you me. Um. Anyways, let's make sure there's nothing more in the article. Um, I will say too, looking at her face is I could see them doing a lot with her. I mean, she could be a Ray style, attractive main lead, or they could shave her head and turn her into a Asajj Ventress, and she would look good either way. So I think that this could be really good casting with that face, because they kind of get that ability if they have to Sith Lord her up to sort of make that baby faced evil thing. And since it's
in a
a main
cruel LA world. I'm not
Yeah.
saying this. LA is saying this.
Okay.
I could see a casting agent going, we want someone that looks like the Tiffany Smith character, but she's a little old. For them. We want someone who's younger down. You know what I mean? Like, they fits that look they were going for the games with the Imperial kind of like crossover, you know, like someone who kind of could has a dark side but a soft soul. Like, she's got a soft soul, right? Like, you could probably reason with this person.
Well, I mean, if you're going to do a bad guy, a bad girl, we probably shouldn't even say bad guy anymore in this world. That
not bad
now,
guy,
modern times. But I tend to use it like as the catch-all, like dude. Like when I say
antagonist,
dude, I actually learned a hard lesson the other day. I say dude all the time for everyone. And I was getting my coffee from McDonald's and the person had a mask on and I caught it after. I was like, thanks, dude. And as I was driving away, I looked and I had like a Larry David moment where I looked at them, they looked at me, and I could tell, oh, that person was born female.
You're from Southern California. Dude is, we say when we're excited, we go, dude. When we're confused, we go, dude.
But I could tell
when we interrupt, dude.
They were like, I could tell. I felt the energy of, I'm a woman or I'm not. And like you're calling me dude, like you don't know the difference. I could tell, but I was like, you have a mask on and a hat. I can't tell.
I worked at Kinko's once. I straight up looked at a person and said, yes, sir, and it was a woman. So yeah. I mean, questionable, but like felt bad. I'm like, ma'am, like
yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I hate pronouns. I just think we all should be called, Jedi Master. Yes, Jedi. Pride. That's what I love about rank in the military. You just, unless it's an officer and you have to say ma'am, it's stupid. But yes, Sergeant. Like, it's great.
My pronoun. My pronoun is Thang.
But you're from Southern California, dude. Watch Bill and Ted's, dude. Everyone women call each other dudes. My wife all the time with her friend, dude. Like, it's so strange.
Well, I went back, got my coffee again, and was super nice. And I didn't say dude, and they seemed very nice to me. So I think we reached an understanding. But anyways, the possibility of exploring the dark side, the Force, and the complex struggle between the light and the dark side like never before makes the Acolyte stand out, just
like we've seen before
on a truly unique Star Wars experience.
We've seen this. Like,
I'm gonna throw it out there though that it's the
I love the creative team for this project. So this time I might believe the PR press release. Like,
do you think Amanda Stenberg would be a good fit for the lead role in Acolyte? How would anybody know? Honestly, though, I mean, probably though. Look, I mean, I think design, in terms of design. I think that
any quality. Sorry, go ahead.
No, she has a look that you could definitely. Hey, it's Bespin.
Any quality actor in a good role is going to bring something to the series. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about a movie. Was it Primal Fear? Horrible shit film. Ed Norton out there fucking making it an Oscar-winning performance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those films. I'm like, look. It's true. Watch it, and then when he comes on, you're like, "This changes the whole film." How does one actor change the whole film? Right? It's true. Like, it does happen. I mean, there's plenty of other instances, but I mean, that's the one I always remember because the film was so bad.
Right.
It was like 3 steps below. I mean, 10 steps below a Basic Instinct knockoff. Not Basic Instinct, but a Basic Instinct knockoff, and it was like, so any quality actor. I just refrain from the whole like, they look like the drawing, so that should be the person. Like, I don't. Frank Langella looks nothing like Richard Nixon. Not even remotely. Doesn't sound like him. Doesn't look like him. I don't want anyone else playing Richard Nixon but Frank Langella. So, like, I don't believe it. That dude was alive when I was alive.
Yeah.
Nixon. Like, when I was alive. When I was young. Sorry.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I think if that's the direction that they go, because I mean, I think this, I have to say, since it's have we? I don't remember if we've heard if it's a limited series or not, and I don't think we've got that confirmed yet. Which it's going to be. So if it's a limited series, then we just end up like here's the story, and then there you go. If it's an ongoing story where they want it to be a long, ongoing long saga, which I think it may be considering the amount of people in the writers' room that we've heard about from Leslie Headland in past interviews. If it's going to be a limited series, you don't necessarily need a lot of people, not all the time. You know what I mean? To come in and bring a different flavor to every episode, like it's Mandalorian or something like that. When it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's like you need a writer, you know. And on this one, so I think it's going to be an ongoing series. And with that in mind, the character has to progress. You have to start from somewhere interesting, but take it somewhere somewhat unexpected. It has to be kind of a journey there. So in my estimation, the story is going to be about somebody who is brought into it in some way, like a witch, or just a random stray, you know what I mean? What do they call them? Loth rats in Rebels, and something like that, and then rises to power, and then ultimately I think is going to have to reject it and do the right thing, because the Sith don't take over 200 years before the Phantom Menace. But the groundwork, they still have enough wins to lay the groundwork to get where they need to by the Phantom Menace. So, that's kind of my take, is that we're going to see this person change a lot over the course of the story. Because if your whole thing is that you're willing to join a cult, essentially, and by the end you have that moment of enlightenment, and you reject and try to destroy the cult, and or something like that, and stop it, that's a pretty big transformation. And so my guess is that it maybe the first part of it may not even have her. It may have her like on the path to it. The first season may even end with her actually getting the quote apprenticeship. You know what I mean? Of finding them, and so like because it could go so many different ways. But
one would hope you'd see that
yeah,
Jedi story pan over 3 seasons and not one.
right.
You know, I just don't want that. We're here and then we're training and now we turn because we got to do the right thing in 9 episodes, right? Like, let's spread it out a little bit here.
Yeah,
It's my hope.
yeah.
My hope. I mean, if they do it right, man, it'll be a huge success. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, we've been wanting a long form, you know, forcey, sabery story for quite a while, and this could be it. I mean, they got the talent. They have decent budgets.
Hey, Santa wants to join us. I want Santa to join us. I just saw the message right now because I was like on the show. Let me try to send Santa the invite.
Just let him down the chimney. Plop
Right?
open that.
I set up the.
Hold on, man. I left the milk and cookies downstairs again. Damn it.
Yeah, that's good. He will devour them. And
if you don't feed him, he turns into Krampus. That's where the Gremlins fairy tale came from. Didn't you know that? Like, if you don't feed him at midnight, they mix it up, but that's the base. It's true. It's true.
So I sent Santa the invite. If he's still free, then yeah, that would be great. So, anyways, oh yeah, I set up the Christmas tree a couple of days ago, and right after I did send a show, I was like, I need to set up the Christmas tree stuff. I need to get on that. It's December already, so we went and did it, and I planned on having it in the background the next time I was with Santa. I was like, I'm doing it, man. Don't destroy me, Krampus. But surprise Santa visits. If we get it, I'll take it. My daughter is beginning to suspect that this Santa Claus thing is a grift. And I keep telling her, why is it every Monday I do a show with the Santa? And she's like, he's not the Santa. I'm like, oh, yes, he is. And then she like kind of like looks at me like, I don't buy it. And then she's like, I hear her talking to her brother. She's like, when we're on vacation on Monday, I'm gonna jump in there and I'm gonna ask him if he's the real one. And I'm like, oh, please do it. Please do it. Wouldn't that be great if she like rushes in, is like, oh, grabs the back. She's like, are you the real Santa? You tell me now. And then he looks at her in the eyes and he goes, no. And then she just starts crying.
He starts setting her up for organized religion. Look, if you're wrong, no harm, right? But I mean, if you're right, there is no harm. But if you're wrong, then all your presents burn forever.
Yeah.
What? There has to be a penalty with Santa. I feel there had to have been at some point. I know Nicholas in Germany, all the kids they call him Nicholas, and they were telling me like, yeah, Nicholas would come down and capture the children, the bad ones. It was like super dark or some shit.
Yeah.
I know I can look it up, folks, but like I like just people telling me secondhand knowledge and not doing the research. So
well, maybe if you maybe it's easier to well, no, we're probably.
Do you have to be right about mythological nonsense?
No, I'm like when it comes down to like I wonder if we have any. Do Americans have anything that like scary?
Our healthcare system.
Whoa! Wait, let me get.
What's this mythological nonsense?
Okay, I can't hear Santa.
Oh my goodness!
Is it?
Hold on.
Hold on. Let me see if something weird is going on here. Can I hear you, Santa?
I can hear you. I see my volume.
Santa needs to bring Jason some Mac drivers. Like,
okay, Rob, do you hear Santa?
Yeah, I can hear him. Yeah.
Okay, it's my audio is literally just jacked up.
That's what happens. He plays the music on that thing and it screws everything up.
You guys talk it out. Let me try to figure out what's going on here.
Audio hey Santa, output. you gonna bring Hasbro like some guidance?
Well, I will say Walmart is completely confused. They had pre-orders come up yesterday for a bunch of stuff, and the Grogu and Din Djarin one from season 2 with the ice spiders and all that. That thing was supposed to go live yesterday, and it was down all day. And then this morning it comes up, and then I don't know. They're completely confused, and all the graphics for the toys are gone. It's just this generic Walmart logo, but it's you can order the.
That's great.
It's okay.
Yeah. And
Santa will bring it to you.
Don't worry. Once Mitt Romney can find a way to bankrupt Walmart's toy aisle, he will. He's working on it harder than anything you've ever seen. He's 2-0, but he's working on that one. There's money to be made there.
That's funny.
Well, I don't think I've ever got the Santa in the full Santa getup.
No, I heard you mentioning about the questioning out there. Is this the real Santa? I'm like, I can take care of that.
I know you can. I believe in you.
It brings me such joy. It really does.
That's what it should do.
This is the opposite reaction to that Monopoly board. I'm happy. What did we do? We canceled Christmas. Us liberals. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Melon just threw Santa out.
The Easter Bunny DMCA'd Santa. Fucking tech bastard in his eggs.
Those elves have struck back again.
If you guys want to have a do you still have bookings open for children to do the online? Yeah, how do they do that?
So you got to go out to a website called Zuhu. It's ZUHOO, Zuhu, and there's a place where you can make a reservation. If you want to get a reservation with me, if you put in the code JINGLE40, so JINGLE 40, no spaces, then it'll bring up my calendar, and when you make your reservation, it goes directly to me.
Nice. Yeah. If you're gonna have a visit with Santa, especially during a pandemic, which is how you should do it, is online if you can. Get Star Wars Santa. Why would you go with
Right?
like a hungry game Santa? You don't want Hungry Game Santa.
No,
You want Star Wars
no,
Santa.
exactly, exactly. And I have gotten a number of Star Wars requests this year, so I think that some folks have been doing that. And of course, our friend in the chat, Mark Hamilton, I was able to visit with him and his son earlier this year, and I've got one coming up like in a little over a week with another one of my good friends, Gray, who shows up in the chat sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah, and Kieran is over there in Ireland, spreading the good news and the word, and getting reservations over in Ireland for Star Wars Santa. How about that?
Across the world. See, you don't need no magic sleigh. You could just
Exactly.
You could just use the technology we got today.
Deal. Okay.
Okay, so people in the chat have been asking like how certain, like Mr. Hamilton is saying, how certain are you that it's Camie and Fixer? Defo looks like jumpsuit Boba is at the Tashi station. Now, not to try to co-op this, but if you remember, if people who have been following me for a while, I thought they made the Tashi station house back down in El Segundo. I was up there at the Apollo parking station looking down on it, and it looked just like that place. And looking at it now and looking at what I'm seeing in the video of the stuff, I am convinced. I edited together a short little video. And so both of you guys, make sure you guys unmute your mic because I uploaded the video to Melon because I didn't want to go through the YouTube ecosphere and deal with all of that kind of stuff. But
Look, much like Get Back, once Fixer brought Camie and he couldn't get rid of her. So they've been there. Everyone else has left.
Yeah,
Biggs is like, I tapped that once, but it was, it wasn't.
Yeah, Koo Stark wasn't playing around back then. She was a foxy lady in the 70s. I wonder if when they cast the new Camie and Fixer, if they were method actors and they had to make really complex merkins, 1970s style merkins, for the role. But here we go. I'm going to start the video.
Mrs. Claus, no!
Oh, cover your ears, Mrs. Claus.
Not on this show, Rob. Please, not when he's in the costume. So I think the Sinkhole City is going to be Anchorhead. It won't be...
Anchorhead.
It'll be Anchorhead. Yeah, I think it'll be Anchorhead.
Well,
it's not the pod race. If you look at that shot, that city extends above the sinkhole and far out, bro. They didn't just build all that after.
Well,
would they get a tech boom or a tax credit situation after the Empire fell? Like, no.
Well, okay, I'm going to disagree because Anchorhead is like a truck stop. There's no way. I know, but if the truck stop grew into that, then Mos Espa is Coruscant.
It's a flying Django's now, like whatever you want to call it. Like,
I don't. Rob, here's why I disagree. You see Finn Shannick and Boba Fett in the full armor going in there to meet with the Hammerhead to kick his ass. So they're not going to. He's not going to wait when he's in that white jumpsuit. I think he's just kind of trying to come back to civilization after the Sarlacc stuff.
Tashi Station is a ways out from Anchorhead, though, right? Anchorhead's a city. Tashi Station and Anchorhead is beyond Tashi Station. I get it confused. I had to go back and look.
Here's what I think. I think he gets out. He's wearing the jumpsuit of the original Boba Fett that we know from Return of the Jedi.
His onesie.
Right. He comes, his little space onesie.
In there.
He comes out, and then he's all like jacked up, and then I think he goes into Anchorhead, and he walks in, and then he's like needs some water or something. He's been out there, and he sees Biggs and Camie and Fixer, and they're being taken over by these pirates. I think he beats them up. They give him some water and some food, and then he gets on his way. I think that's that is my guess. So, what's your guess, Anna? Do you have one?
Well, he looks like he's already been through some Bacta treatments.
Okay.
You see his face there isn't as gnarly as it was in Mando. So I don't think it's, like his first encounter, but he may be coming there after messing some folks up because he's not clean. he's been up to something. So I don't know who's been fighting with, but I would think that he's just come from an encounter of some sort.
Yeah, he has no. I mean, he doesn't have his armor. So does he lose his armor again in the series and walk around the desert without it? Like that's where I'm. That's why I'm guessing. I'm wondering if this is a Palpatine situation of inconsistent makeup, personally. But I think your take on that is solid. But Rob,
I'm just saying I don't think the city's the pod race. Built
I don't
yeah.
think it's a pod race either. There's a couple problems with it. One, Rob's absolutely right. Unless they've just been like in a full scale construction boom, everybody in the galaxy is coming there to build this city. It didn't happen. Secondly, in the Mandalorian, I think we see an overshot where you can see bones of one of the those big elephant kind of creatures. What are they?
the Banthas.
Bantha, yeah, you see Bantha skeleton overlooking what appears to be that pod race track.
Okay,
And there's no sprawling city around there.
fair enough. If
Santa layeth down the sack, bro.
no,
You
that's.
know?
I mean, I just got sack slapped. I can't lie. No, I'm kidding.
Like the Spider-Man 3 trailer. Just you know. Like...
Okay. So guys, I'm gonna play the video of the evidence, and everyone make sure you unmute your mic in the bottom left hand corner who's on the panel here, so you can talk over it. Okay, here we go. So right here we see Luke Skywalker walking in. Notice the dumb light is different, but see those little pods for like storing stuff. Now here's Boba and the thing, and right here you see the same pods on the left hand corner here. The light fixture has changed. That's definitely a different light fixture. Now right here, see here, look at their costumes. That's Biggs. I mean that's Fixer and Camie. They're the same costumes. There's the same wall right there. But right there, that wall is exactly the same. The costumes are the same. We got the only thing that we have different is one of the light fixtures. Oh, it's Filoni's here. Filoni, tell us.
Well, Luke has my hat. So I know what I'm talking about. I mean, I put the hat in there.
Yeah,
I put the stash and the merkin. I mean, it's all in shot.
You let him borrow that hat at the fire festival, and he never gave it back.
It's Fire Spray Festival.
Yeah. So anyways, let's play the video one more time, so that way people can see it again, just in case anybody missed any of the details. So yeah, right there, that light has changed. Same cubby holes, same door, same stairs. I'd even say, and then
dopey ass walk. Oh
yeah, and I'm gonna guess that little light fixture there, they just did what they could at the time, and they were never happy with it. And then right here, you can see it's the same wall panel, the same little wiry things pulling through. And then look at the girl's hair. Look at the girl's hair. It matches. It all adds up as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, I'm gonna throw in there at the end that I
already impregnated. You can tell she's got that pregnant back
on making barefoot and pregnant and best team or Anchorhead.
Pregnant. I don't know, man. The American school system failed me.
Yeah. So I'm and then like I said, if you go back to the old stuff I was taking that I thought was for Mando season 3 back then, and I looks just like Anchorhead, and so it definitely, I'm more than convinced now that it is. And on a side note too, on Santa's show I brought it up before that, like I was like, Naboo starfighters are going to be in one of these, because I had a scoop on that. And then yesterday in that little trailer you see the Vespa speeders that I had in the same spoiler report with the Naboo starfighter. So I think the Naboo starfighter is also going to be in Book of Boba. So yeah, they're definitely bringing in everything from everywhere around Star Wars for this one.
It's pretty harsh, Joel. Joel's
Wait.
like, I put on a little green jelly in the background, and Joel gets all excited. You know what I mean? Like he gets hardcore around the claymations. Like,
Yeah, and then in my head, the Biggs cutscenes, they're canon as far as I'm concerned. Like, I'm not saying Lucasfilm considers it that way, but like we have that opening moment in the Last Jedi novelization where Luke imagines he had married Camie and he's basically Victor.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious if the audio dramas are considered at all. I didn't even really know about the audio dramas until this morning when it was kind of going in through some of the Discord discussions. But the two of them show up in a number of the audio dramas that continue their story as well. So I agree with you. I think the cutscene from A New Hope is essentially like having the original release of the A New Hope, where they talk about Jabba, but Jabba doesn't show up, but Jabba comes later. So it's essentially the same sort of thing. They just didn't add the scene back in. I think it is canon from my perspective. I don't see anything why it would not be. It kind of sets some of the backstory, and as you mentioned in the novel, Luke is thinking back and imagining Camie. So that's I'm on your same page.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like if we time travel back 5 years and talk to ourselves, in Rogue One, they had Biggs in Rogue One. They had a guy who they were basically turning into a lookalike of Biggs Darklighter, and they were gonna have that be a thing, and then they didn't do it. They also had Porkins and Biggs. They did a couple of them. Didn't really use any of them. I think we might have got some of them in Topps digital trading cards on the Card Trader app. Might have seen their pictures there officially, but they didn't make it into the final cut of the film. Well, now here we are, and we're going to see Camie and Fixer before Biggs. I couldn't have guessed that
those
one.
digital cards are going to be worth a lot of money in the meta. I swear. Like you better NF feet
NFTs.
those things as soon as you can. NF feets. That's what I call it. Because they stink, Peg. They stink. They smell like shoes. Yeah, it's true. People don't tell you that. I mean, yeah, there were some, but smell your whole fucking house up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, in terms
not for nothing. Sorry, not for nothing. Before I forget, that scene in the Last Jedi book where Luke envisions his life had he never gotten involved is really quite good and
Very
scary.
good.
And scary, actually. There's actually some drama there, and so it's like that one. I was like, I don't always go, this should have been in the movie. That should have been in the movie. that would have helped because even if Yoda showed him, you want to see, I don't know, something. There's a way to do it, but like it is scary, that stuff. It's a great scene.
Yeah, no, I like it too. I wouldn't be against seeing it in some other way. I don't think it would have fit in the movie because it was like, here's Luke's story and he's not really it's not his story.
Maybe not that film, but possibly had Rian done the third film.
Rian Johansson.
Yeah.
We call him
Rian Johansson, but in Europe they call me Krampus Johansson. I just take it. I steal your children and your holidays.
I think the big issue with the sequel trilogy, with a lot of that kind of stuff, is there's not a lot of space to add like a live action show that would go side by side. So
play it before the film. I disagree. I've been thinking about that.
No,
well,
they could have easily played a 5 to 10 minute little thing that before the show that set up the in between.
I'm saying like now you want to create a live action show. So like for example, they're in the comics now they're going into Luke's training between 5 and 6, right? And his exploration through there. There's not a lot of room between the movies to add scenes that weren't in the movies, right? Or add story that weren't in the movies.
We can do it, Santa. Like I don't think there's always more room, Santa. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm not opposed to it at all, and I love the novels. It's just I'm trying to picture where would they fit it in and how.
Bet you didn't think there'd be extra room for a new lead singer in Jabba's palace either.
Nor was it needed, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I actually was thinking along the same lines as you, Rob. But I was thinking about how neat it would have been if they had restored that stuff and shown it before the special edition. Don't add it back into the movie, but if we had just got to see it, like, you know, and I'm curious if
had that been the opening, right? But had that been the opening of Revenge of the Duel of the Skywalkers, but it was like something Rey saw, like it wasn't even Luke's vision. Like she saw the many possibilities, right?
Yeah,
of not getting involved makes things worse. So what do? If I get involved, we end up where we started. If I don't get involved, things get worse. Like it does. If that feels more apropos for the time we live in. Like if I try to get involved, then the police murder me. If I don't, then Santa's gonna be mad and not bring me toys. So I don't know what to do. Like I'm stuck. I have to do something.
Yeah.
I've got my Meg merch right there.
Got the mega mug.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a shirt that says Meg merch now.
Yeah, I need to get I need to get mine, because when I finally went to go and get mine, it was taken down, and then it was going to cost a mega million to
right.
get that one.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to get one for Kayla, and I had to order it from the UK and then pay all their VAT taxes and everything else, and then on top of all that, then have it shipped here. And I was like, yeah, that's.
We're Americans. We're not paying the Queen anything.
I can't I can't really justify like $50 for a mug. Like
yeah. I would rather just send Meg $50 and say, hey Meg, go have a dinner with a friend on
Santa. I don't know if you've heard of this cruiser hotel, but you are in for a world of pain.
That's true. That's true.
You better just start getting used to it now, so when you go, the blood pressure runs low. You know what I'm saying?
I'm waiting for one of those Disney executives to invite me down on a gratuity. Give me a free tour. As soon as that happens, I'll be right on it.
Right. Yeah. I not that I would ever get that, but after we roasted it for about 2 hours on the show, I don't expect that to ever happen.
I mean, they won't invite me. You were defending it, Jason.
I wasn't defending it.
Blame me. I wouldn't go.
I've been against it since the price point, honestly. But
I still justified some of the price point. I was 1,000% wanting to burn the place down when I found out it was a hotel masquerading as a fake cruise. I still can't get my head around
it's capitalism at its finest. If there are people willing to pay, then God bless them. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah. My thing is when they endanger hurting the brand.
Finest.
At its finest. Just is the nicest way to put it.
We want a fair market, not a free market, Santa. All right, a free market is how you end up with 7,000 Hallmark Christmas specials. They're all pretty much the fucking same, and they never stop. All right, they don't stop no matter what you do. They make more of them in 1 year than a Marvel fucking franchise. It's crazy. Right? A fair market is they get around to it every few years when there's some new celebrities to update it with.
Some of my friends are cast in those shows, so hey, I don't want to hear you knocking them. Maybe they'll call me someday and say, "Hey, Santa, we're filming in Central another Hallmark movie that nobody asked for. We're doing in Central Ohio. Would you come and be Santa in our movie?" I mean, yes.
I took that money and made another Saved by the Bell reboot, Santa. Those people could have been paid all year long.
More Saved by the Bell. I can't get enough Saved by the Bell. But
Saved by the Zoom.
But I love Lifetime movies. I actually am a fan of that. So I just consider those to be Lifetime movies for non-manic depressives. That's the way. That's because that's the way I look at it. But oh no. Jesse, I hope you're doing okay, man. I missed everyone. I had to go to the hospital last night to get this ear thing under control. Have a good day, guys. Yeah, I was running late today, and I didn't get a message from Jesse, so I was like, oh, you know what? He's probably catching up after being under the weather because he was feeling better yesterday. But yeah, I hope they give you some good antibiotics and whatever you need, man. But whenever you're ready to come back home,
Biotchics for the 90s.
anti-biatches.
Hey, so with the cruise hotel brick, whatever, mausoleum, in the 90s when they were having trouble getting people to go to Disney World, Disneyland, where there was a downtick in attendance, Eisner had every one of the TGIF crew go to Disneyland. Remember they?
I remember that. Urkel's like,
yeah.
Oh!
So we had to like advertise it. Do you think if this thing tanks, they make everyone on Disney Plus go? Like, do you think that's the time Mando crashes on Earth and it lands at the cruise, or he actually goes on the cruise in canon, so you think it's the cruise? Like, do they force them to worm it in somehow? Like,
I don't know.
You say they would never do it, but I don't believe it, man. We
honestly,
through...
Rob, the problem is that they show anything from it at all. Like, if they just don't show anything from it at all, people will be like, oh, a Star Wars space cruise. Oh, that sounds like it's going to be a good time. But once they show you, welcome to the new world, then everybody's just like, what? Huh? I don't remember that being a Star Wars thing. Oh, there went Meg.
Oh, sad.
I just saw Meg fly by.
Meg's looting Santa again.
Yeah.
For exiters. You know what I'm saying? They got to take everything. Ain't getting it from the EU.
Wait. Is this a pun? They have some clauses in the actors kind of prevent embarrassment. To be honest. But,
I like that. I love
this. Yeah, no, I think that they're gonna have to probably start to I hope behind the scenes they're like, you know what? We do need to Star Wars-ify this a bit more and start upticking that stuff a lot more.
Well, when the reservations drop off, then they will. But as long as people are paying for it, then why would they change it?
Right.
Like if they could up it to
Thank
10.
you, Capital Claus.
Look, Santa's a capitalist. I'm just saying.
Santa, you give things away for free. Really, what you're supporting is the manufacturers, not the unions. That's what you're doing, Santa.
Well, so don't get the elves thing, man. Don't get the elves mad. They want to unionize, and he's stopping them. And if we get we say the one wrong thing, the show goes down.
The last time they got mad, they made their own Flash video game and emailed it to everybody.
There's no unionization of the elves. Let's just make that clear. That's not happening.
Yeah. Not in this economy.
No, it was like he was like Pablo Escobar. Elf on a shelf doesn't mean what you think, you guys. It doesn't mean what you think.
He was like Pablo Hidalgo. I got 3 elves at home.
But anyways, all right. Back to the Camie and Fixer thing. Are we all of the same hive mind here that these guys are just pretty much saved by Boba in that sequence, and that's the extent of it?
Yeah, it's definitely the Favreau thing to do. Right, put a little something in there.
Do you expect that they're going to be anything significant, or was this Ponda Baba and Evazan done classy?
You made me think about it. 'Cause I was trying to work out why is he coming in with? It looks like he's already been to the spa a few times.
Yeah,
and he's coming in. He doesn't have his armor on, and he's all like he's got burn marks and whatever on there. I think maybe there was we saw all those swoop bikes coming in. And he's coming out of the spa. Life is good. He hasn't put the armor on. These guys are attacking him without the armor, and he is kicking butt even out of the armor. And he's going room to room, clearing house. And so he comes in here. These guys are attacking, and he's fixing to take them out as well.
He's trying to essentially win, quote, the hearts and minds of the Tatooine peoples.
When Robert Kraft, as Meg says, I added this, but walks out of the Twilight healing spa, that's the pose he makes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, when you look at what the Filoni Favreau Star Wars side of things have set up so far, is we have
Camie's not gonna let the sun do to her what it did to Beru.
No.
Spot in the back. She's like, no, not in this house.
You are gonna moisturize, baby. We're gonna moisturize you. Yeah, man, Brew was smoking and she didn't moisturize, and you saw what happened, you guys. Let's be real. No, but we have Moss Pelgo, and then we have a dude come in and he stops the Raiders, and then now everyone is listening to him because it's the Wild West, and you could die at any second out there. And then so if we have Boba showing up and he is sort of cleaning house and putting the bandits in line, and then winning over all of the quote villagers, of the planet, and that's one of the scenes that we see where it starts, or even the middle of it. Who cares where it started? Then you end up with the situation where you do see Boba doing a total takeover of a planet, and that's a pretty cool story in the end.
Yeah.
If that's what it ends up being,
Yeah, to see him going through that Twilight
Walter
healing
White's.
spas, Meg put that seed in my mind too. So going
yeah.
through the Twilight healing spa.
He's already got one tentacle. The other one.
You see him in that whole trailer could be from that one episode. Really, when you start to piece it all together, like he's in the back to the spa. You see the guys on the bikes coming in. You see him coming in and where he had been taking the back to bath. Now he's been fighting folks.
Yeah,
it all fits together.
Yeah, I also think, Jason, you're right that if the 3 to 4 season arc is that Boba goes from being this, half-eaten, chewed-up bounty hunter to literally, like, Tatooine is a backwater planet, but now it becomes the criminal. It becomes New Jersey. He Nucky Thompson's that shit right the fuck up, right?
Yeah, he would.
Yeah,
he would.
Yeah, that would be cool. Then it's not a little distant backwater town. It's like, oh, we ignored the tax credits out there and they did what?
Well, and then like in terms of his character too, how Boba Fett's like moral compass actually operates. I think you could see some of it in the comic books in terms of intentions, but it's still so like every scene is like, do you know who I am? Oh, I took a job, but I'm going to finish it. It's just like, it's like a Protestant work ethic at the end of the day. It's just, I took on a job and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to finish it because I said I would. And then like that's all that they do with him in the side stories. Right. But is Boba a bad guy, or is he somebody who operates within the world that he lives in on that world's terms? And so are we going to see Boba change the world and then operate at a higher level? I don't know if spiritually is the right way to put it.
It's a whole new world. See,
a new world.
Right? A fantastic fad of things to do.
Well, if you go to the episode where Boba had the duel with Cad Bane,
yeah,
he was the good guy in that. Cad Bane had some people he was holding hostage or ransom, and Boba Fett said, let him go. That's not the right thing to do. And they had the duel. So, Jedi Mike neutral. He may be a chaotic neutral or a chaotic good even.
Yeah, and then I mean, this is totally
roll for initiative,
real life, but like sociologically, criminals usually chill out when they hit about his age. So I don't know if we start to see him if we're gonna have,
or some of them run for president.
Oh, but or if we're gonna have it where it ends up being like the kind of situation where they're able to bring in Daniel Logan and let him be evil young Boba doing all kinds of wild things, in the earlier Billy the Kid days eventually, and then have this be the story about the guy. The analogy I brought up on Star Wars.net show is the King Conan kind of thing, where that's kind of what that always felt like. That little end of Mando season 2 felt like the King Conan thing, where he's sitting on the throne, and he's got his Fennec Shand, and she has some blue milk in a little jug, and they're gonna get going to that spa later and give each other petties. But
no, I still think that King Conan analogy is spot on, and it's the best one I've heard for a while, because everything lines up to that, right?
Yeah.
Still yet.
Yeah. I mean,
until Omega becomes a sector ranger, then it gets personal.
Well, the one thing that I wanted to also to throw out there is I picked up on what I consider to be the barbarian thing. Well, have you noticed that they keep talking about how Tamara Morrison goes full barbarian mode?
Right.
Conan the barbarian
Yes.
mode. I mean, I think that's what they're doing. I think they're kind of telling a Conan story, a Conan the barbarian story, not a Conan O'Brien, a Conan
Yeah.
story, and
A
there's
story for me to poop on.
yeah.
The kid.
And I don't know that I would call Boba Fett a Talon card.
Oh, thank you for the super chat, by the way.
Yeah, a Talon card wasn't necessarily a combat fighter kind of guy, right? He
Rip
was more
Torn.
about brains and leveraging his connections. So I don't know that we've seen a Talon card in the new canon outside of Talon
Bear.
card. Like I don't know. I can't think anybody that fits that bill.
When you guys read books, do you guys tend to sometimes cast actors who you know in the
yes.
role visually that as you're reading? As a 10-year-old, was it 9? That's like 9 probably. I cast Kurt Russell from Big Trouble in Little China as Talon Card when I read it as a kid. That's who I saw. You see Rip Torn? I saw.
That's why I've been saying Big Bear, because I'm like, he can't be he needs to be a guy who used to be probably in shape, but he has to be able to lead people. He needs a commanding voice. He can't be a hot dude. Or I pictured Mara as like Michelle Pfeiffer, Batman Returns Michelle Pfeiffer with red hair. That's how I saw it, because I'm like, she has to be someone who Luke really couldn't get unless she had a complete change of character. And then, Rip Torn, man. I love Rip Torn's that personality. He can make anyone feel like an idiot.
I mean, it was really funny. As a kid, I literally, because of the red hair thing, I saw, what's her name? Was it Joanne Wiley? I can't remember what her name, from Willow, who the red hair. And then as I read the book, I'm like, oh, it literally is Sorsha. Like, it's like the same story. Mara Jade's early story is basically Sorsha from Willow. And that was who I ended up seeing in that role. But
I think 90s Kurt Russell actually would have been a good Tash Rendar. Like, you need like a doofy version of first off, he was gonna be Han Solo once.
He was in contention.
He was in the running, so that's why I was like, Kurt Russell as an alternate, take Han Solo, who definitely isn't getting Leia.
Yeah. She says, Star Wars Meg says, I imagine Cobb Vanth completely different to Timothy Oliphant when I read Aftermath. That's because Timothy Oliphant is magic. He really is. I really don't, I don't think many actors are amazing. I would never kiss the butt of pretty much any actor, but I gotta say, Timothy Oliphant is amazing.
It's that hair.
He does.
All of his magic comes from his hair, much like Samson in the Bible, right? Like Timothy Oliphant's hair gives him all his power, right?
It's real when Santa starts dropping down the Bible.
Yeah, that's how good he is, man.
Old Testament too.
Yeah, I have some friends in podcasting too who hung out with him in real life, and when I knew he was in Star Wars a little bit early, but I wasn't allowed to say because they were like, you can't say, and I was like, okay. But they said that he is in real life is a good dude though. And honestly, these two podcasters meet everybody. They live in LA and they know everybody, and they usually are like, oh really? He's in your space story. He's a total douche. Just
when
so
he's
you know.
The leader of the Sector Rangers, their theme song is gonna be good dudes, good dudes. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the Fant comes for you?
Yeah,
Fant. Ollie Fant versus Boba Fett.
I am a little. I was a little bummed when I was both bummed and happy when Kathleen Kennedy kind of confirmed where they ended up on Rangers, because I was being told we never wrote it. It wasn't being shelved. But Timothy Oliphant was the actual lead the whole entire time, and they were going to. That's what they were. Cara Dune was going to be in it. It's not a problem. It never was going to be a problem. And then she says, "Oh, we're going to integrate it into the Mandoverse spinoffs or whatever." Essentially, And I took that as two different ways, by the way. I took it as either they're literally going to just start telling those stories with Timothy Oliphant in Mandalorian and sort of transition into a new series that way, or they're just going to retitle the show to drop the Gina Carano baggage.
Sector Rangers.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of people that think that Mando as a show, The Mandalorian, should have ended.
It is a
season.
show. Yeah,
Well,
come on,
it's
Rob,
real.
Rob,
it's not a figment of mine.
I'm putting Rob in timeout. Rob's in timeout for 1 second. All right, Rob, you can come back now.
But I thought it should have ended at season 2 and picked up as a different show after that, right? Like each story has its name. So this one is The Mandalorian, this one is Rangers, this one is whatever, and it just picks up one after another and they tie together. So you'd have, as it turns out, you would have The Mandalorian, and then you would have Book of Boba Fett, and those two series, one picks up where the other stopped. And the story continues, but just in limited series over a number of titles.
Yeah. I see. I think that if they may have got I'm not saying that they're not confident, but Mandalorian was such a connected so easily and was so, it's like they haven't had another television show come out since The Mandalorian. It's all we've had so far is 2 seasons of Mandalorian and really nothing else. We've had other projects, but not an actual live action Star Wars television series, Yeah. And I think that if they're like, that's kind of like the tentpole umbrella for what they want to do for the most part. And I think that they might be like a little bit nervous about how do they sell the other stuff, because they knew going into that Boba Fett, the armor sold Boba Fett for years, just it being cool. And then when they did the Mandalorian TV show, then they got the Baby Yoda explosion. And so, I don't think that if they had their way, if they could just do whatever they wanted to pure success, I don't think that they would continue the Mandalorian very much further than what they are. I think they would just spin off a new show. Now here's Rangers. I think that's what they want to do. But now I think they're seeing maybe that's a brand unto itself.
Right.
And
right. And that's what we're seeing, I think, through absorbing Rangers into Mando season 3, which is going to come, after. And so instead of spinning off other series, it'll just be The Mandalorian, as you just said, right? It's become its own brand within Star Wars itself, and it'll just continue on. The other stories will be absorbed into rather than spun out of.
And when you consider. Hey, Rob, you're not really in timeout. I was just kind of kidding there. but
what? I faced the corner. That's what I learned over Christmas time. If you don't follow the rules, Santa leaves you cold, or abandons you on Christmas. Right? That's my mother did. So Santa kind of taught me not to fuck around the holidays. No, I was just reading about how. I didn't know this, that Amanda Stenberg identifies as non-binary. I didn't.
Okay.
I don't know anything about the actor. So apparently people don't know that, and it's going around. So I just wanted to say that.
So Ben and Menace is gonna get mad. Anyways, the title The Mandalorian though as a brand, you can. I mean, they've been selling Din Djarin as the Mandalorian. Which I think confuses it, but you can pull that out and it can be plural.
Meg says she didn't know. Meg said something about she didn't know where to take Mando after season 2, and I'm like, for me, it's kind of obvious. If I'm Favreau and Filoni and I want to pull some deep cuts, the original draft of the Star Wars all took place on one planet. So you make a one planet adventure, a Mandalore adventure, where they're stuck on that one planet, and we actually get to explore one location the whole, they can't leave the planet, they're stuck there for whatever reason. And then at the end, maybe was it Bo-Katan or one of them has to team up with the Imperials to really steal the throne, you know what I mean? And so that person becomes your enemy, and that becomes you. So you get that Imperial starbase thing above the planet thing that mirrors the original draft of the Star Wars. So that's, if I were in the room, that's where I would go with it.
Yeah.
And then Santa started waving "Let's go Mandalorian" on the back. It's all fucking crazy. You know?
Well, I mean, like one of the things about it is if Grogu comes back or not. If they want to have Luke Skywalker and Grogu being really a big part of the series, or if they feel like it's the right way to go, because I feel like so much of the whole thing, the whole reason though why it worked was the relationship between the father and the son of Mando and Grogu at the end of the day. That's what got everybody involved, and that's what allows my daughter likes Grogu, and doesn't dislike Star Wars, but she likes Grogu. And so her and my son, who likes Star Wars in general, they'll play together with that stuff because of that. So there's sort of like a unifying thing of different types of fans or different types of consumers on there. And so when you mess with that, that's where you're like, ooh, I don't know how this is going to go. If Mando season 3 comes out and Grogu's not in it, for instance, does that
he can appear at the end? No. I look. This is one of those things. They have to be bold. Wherein, I hate to bring Marvel into it, but let's do it. I mean, after Infinity War, you start over from you bring it Loki. You bring it down Loki. Funny. You bring it Loki. That is funny. I didn't think about that. You make these stories that are really getting into certain characters and small stakes deals, and then at the very end, look. If you're writing it, the student saves the father, right? The son saves the father because the father saved the son, right? To get all Marlon Brando with it, is the thing you do, but you need to earn that. If Grogu just comes in and does it on episode 1, it's like you need that time away, that separation, that longing, and then give the character something else, and then right when all hope is lost, instead of Luke, it's little Grogu who comes in and saves his dad.
Or would they
they drop him from the plane and he's Fortniting in.
I mean, he has a glider. He has the Razor Crest glider from Fortnite. Would they show what's happening to Grogu?
Sorry.
No. Would they show what's happening to Grogu on a his story side by side Mando story without them being together in the same?
Because they could go back and do that after Mando if they wanted to. If he shows up and he's got some talent now, right? Some controlled talent, which he probably shouldn't given his age, how long it takes. But let's just say he can do one thing. He can Hulk out and turn into a fucking Minch.
Minch.
A Grinch Minch. And then,
I think there's absolutely no chance Grogu stays with Luke. Or stays away from Din
paper moon
for more than a hot second. Yes, You got it right, Rob. But I'm just that combination, as you just said, right? That relationship between the father and the son. That's what people have fallen in love with, right? And carrying that story further is what's going to endear people to the show more than having Grogu cross-pollinate every other show as he bounces between different mentors. I just don't see that happening. I don't see him staying with Luke. Plus the whole issue of Luke, his first student was Ben, and so on and so forth. So I just see, I see him going back to Dan right away. That being leveraged.
I wonder if they could do something where Mando, maybe he goes out there, maybe he goes back to his old life for a short time and realizes how fruitless it is because he had sort of had love in his. What I mean? He had
worse, aren't they, Jason?
Yeah. No. I mean, he
just go back.
Realizes he realizes that that he loves Grogu. That Grogu's his son. Like that's his family kind of thing. Maybe he will put himself in the service of the Jedi. Maybe he will, instead of swearing himself to a cult, he'll swear himself to the Jedi religion itself. Not become a Jedi, but become in service of Luke Skywalker and Grogu to help his little kid do what he needs to do. Because you could look at it from a perspective of why does Luke only have to have Jedi help him? Why does he only have to have Ezra Bridger and Ahsoka Tano? Why can't Din show up and live in a little hut on the property like Hagrid, and take care of him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Put on some weight.
Put on some weight, grow his hair out.
Hang out with the kids a little too much.
Oh, come on, bro. Mine always goes there.
Come see my wild pets.
No.
Want to pet a chicken?
Rob, I'm going to put you in timeout again. But yeah, I mean, because I really do hope that they make everyone happy without sacrificing the quality of the story itself. Because the end of Mando season 2, as I think Meg was hitting at, was so pitch perfect that to go in and to add the wrong note, it's going to bring a disharmony to the whole thing.
Or Luke takes all of them on a little trip on the cruise. Right? Now I'll get to have some hijinks on the cruise.
Oh my God.
You can see how much fun it is to be on
cubby
the cruise.
Yeah, Luke,
the captain's name is Tom.
Tom?
What?
Tom what? Tom what?
Star Cruiser. What?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's actually Wicket. And he's called Star Cruiser. Star Cruiser. Remember that? It's like the only word he could say the whole time, and the whole thing is Star Cruiser. As a kid, I noticed this one moment in the Ewok movies where they're going into the spider cave, and one of the Ewoks goes, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
He says that.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And so I was always like, it is after Return of the Jedi, you guys. Because that pretty much grounds it.
And to answer Jedi Mike, the yellow lightsaber, I don't think that's a thing. That was a piece of art that somebody did, and they got it licensed by Lucasfilm. So it wasn't a commission that Lucasfilm said, "Hey, we want you to go do us a poster, put Luke and Grogu and put this Easter egg of a yellow kyber crystal." I think it's the opposite. We had an artist who wanted to make something to sell at the Comic-Con, and I think it was a Comic-Con, and they put together the poster. They sent it to Lucasfilm and asked to get it licensed. They got it licensed. They probably paid a good fee or signed a contract for commission, right? So we're going to get 40% of whatever you make.
Right.
Who knows? And then they sold
Mrs. Claus knows.
Right? So I don't think Lucasfilm was involved in the commissioning of that work.
Yeah.
They simply licensed it for money.
I don't know. The John Birch Society sent me a thing telling me it's all part of a Grandmaster Kathleen Kennedy plan.
What?
What? It's true. It's true. They foresaw it all.
Well, I mean, Rob, you would know best as far as it goes to like getting commission work like that, or getting it licensed, right? Or getting something licensed.
Individual licenses are different. Like they generally don't do those with artists. I've actually talked to this Marvel on this one. My guess is there's like an outreach program. I have friends that worked on the posters for the Bad Batch. I think they did. So they do bring certain people in and do like these group things, and I think that was probably like a group Mando thing or something. I have to talk to my friend to see how it went. They just wanted us to know they weren't allowed to talk about anything even after the artwork was posted. They're like, don't engage. They're like, we know our fans, and you could drive me nuts, so just don't. That was my guess is just knowing Lucasfilm and how they generally behave behind the scenes. I'm guessing that if they saw it, maybe they submitted it trying to get it like into, you know how like when you go to Disneyland they have like those like fancy Star Wars paintings that you could buy. My guess would be that maybe it was the artist tried to get it submitted or something like that. Lucasfilm saw it and loved it. And then went through on their licensing at that point, because generally you can't just go, hey, Lucasfilm, I want to license this, and they're like, okay, let's have a meeting and talk about it. They're like, well, no, they have guarantees, like, and they have, it's a whole thing, man. So there's generally like a third party, like a Mando or Rittenhouse or something like that
Yeah.
that the artist is working under, and they have the license and they speak to the licensor. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there's that classic. Look, if artwork dictates canon, then I mean, what about that classic Santa hat 3PO with the wreaths and you know what I mean? That ain't live
I know.
day, you know, like so
Exactly.
it's a Walmart poster. That's when we saw it. I'm like, it looks like a Walmart poster, like some cool shit you'd see at Walmart in the poster thing, and then you put on your wall. It's not.
And that's where I was going to go. Is I don't remember what the company is, but the people who do the actual like acrylic paint looking things. I interviewed the guy one time, one of the guys who does them, and the story kind of went like that. And then he got hired onto that company, and then they had the license in that instance. But also, none of those paintings are canon. Like it'll show like Yoda shooting lightning out of his hands, or what's his name, Tasano Sanda or Tassino Sanda. I'm not sure how you say his name because I'm really bad with Japanese. But he has like Yoda holding like a little butterfly and stuff like that, and it's like a true I think it's like a straight up butterfly. And I don't know if butterflies are in Star Wars, but it doesn't matter. It's about the art in that instant. So I don't think anybody's going to adhere to anything as far as that goes. I just think it's a really beautiful piece of art, and they were like, and I think it got passed around like, look at how amazing this is. And I think it was a one-off magical moment for that artist.
Bro, I'll be right back.
You never heard of Imperial Butter? Flies?
Imperial butter?
What? Flies. Yeah, come on. You know it's canon.
So Jedi Mike says, I just wondered if Jason had any TEA any truth to it. Painting examples make total sense. Yeah, like there's like a lot of really, really good Star Wars paintings. And like I said, none of the stuff in there I think is anything that would be considered canon.
The cover to the Heir to the Empire book by the Italian art, the brilliant Italian artist. Luke's saber is like 20 feet long. Like,
yeah.
It is like, oh, that's not
look,
canon. Can't extend out.
There it is.
Yeah,
it's so good.
So I had to go get it just because I've got it right here.
He got that at Montgomery Ward's.
I used to hang out at Montgomery Ward's.
It's downstairs. That's where you take those. It's downstairs near the shitty arcade and the cigarette machine.
Looking at the label because you have me curious.
Yeah,
it says it's by Trends Posters. I'm not sure who that is.
Trends.
Yeah,
they're just somebody who has the license, and they
license,
do. Yeah.
There has to be a third. They don't work independently with artists. There's a third something, then they hire the artist, and because they have to have, I mean, we're talking a minimum of $20,000 a year, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what artist is making 20 grand in profit off a licensed poster?
Right.
Really
no, the one, I can't remember his name right now because I only met him once, but the guy who I interviewed, he had to do several of them a year to make a living, and he was like cranking out a painting a month probably. That's what I think he said back then. And but that is really cool.
It's a really awesome poster, and the question is, what do you guys think? Is it going to be a yellow lightsaber? Is Grogu going to have is this predictive?
Or in what, like 100 years when he can do shit? Like, Mitch is he's gonna be a little Mitch until episode like 10, 11, 12. Like in 100 years in the future, you know what I mean? Or like from that, like 50, 60 years. I mean, you don't introduce a new Yoda character and not have a future situation where he's a Yoda. You know what I mean? Like it's just.
I mean, did you guys used to watch Different Strokes when you guys were kids? Nobody wanted to see adult Gary. I still watch it, but nobody wants the adult Gary Coleman episodes. Nobody wants to see Webster growing up. You know,
so he'll do little kid force antics for a long time. You might have one little move he can do. Like I said, like he can make a bubble and they just roll him in there like a hamster ball. You know, like.
I mean, you end up with the Groot situation. You know, where what do? Do you make him a Jedi teen? And ho, it's so funny. He's a Jedi teenager with an attitude. You know,
It'll
Yeah,
skip that. It'll go from little kid, future.
no, I think I personally think that the character is probably going to go through and really live the adult life as a kid, and then will all of a sudden, if they ever go there, it'll just like flip from child to Yoda.
Well, I think
I
he's
really
in
think
a
so.
yeah. I think he's in a regressive state due to PTSD.
Mhm.
I think that he is more mature. I think that he has a vocabulary. I think that he is capable. It's just that due to PTSD, he's kind of slipped into a regressive state, and he's nonverbal, and he's just not
The
functioning at
canonized
age.
term, Santa, is Star Shock. All right, like get it right.
Star Shock.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Well, that's been my theory for a while, and I think that explains why a 50-year-old acts like a toddler. I don't think that he is actually like comparative toddler age. I think he's a. I think.
know.
Explain me. Explain Rob.
Well, okay.
I took your parents one Christmas. Don't make me do it again. Like, just working things out on the show, guys. Working it out live. Yeah, I appreciate that Santa could be doing this for hundreds of years and care this much about lore in a serious way. Like, because I always go like, what is the marketing? What are they going to do now? Everything's a marketing move for me. You know, I'm like, what are they going to, where's the technology? Where's the gimmick? Where's the trick? And when I don't say gimmick in a negative way, but there's always some underlying thing to do, you know? And it's like, he has to be adorable and then he has to be a master. You don't jet Grogu. You know, we want them when they're kids, and then we forget about them until they're on the set of Mando. Like, you don't, that thing in between, you know, like that. That's not something you want to do with Star Wars too much.
Yeah,
Because you don't want people to hate Grogu. You know,
if I were
True.
if I were in charge of the Grogu situation, as we call it around here, I would probably have him stay somewhat childlike and go with the species does age slower because they live like 1,000 years, and that way he could come and start to become more mature during Rey's time, because then you can literally use him all during Luke Skywalker stuff all you want, but not kill him off, because that's where they run into the Kylo Ren problem of like, what do? Do they have him reject Luke Skywalker's Jedi Order, put in an Ahsoka Tano, I'm walking away from you kind of moment? Like, it feels like a hard thing to do with the fan base who won't let Luke Skywalker be human or fail.
right. And I'm not a big fan of the game, but the show Arcane, there's that character Harmading or whatever. The dude's been running the city for so he lives for like a long time. So he's been there since the city was formed, and they're like, yeah, you come in, people live and die. You always want to take forever to do things. You know, like when you're up against like a Minch who lives 1,000 years, you're like, no, hold on, we could take our time. Like, you got the time, we don't got the time. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there is that whole thing there that could be, you know, you got a character that can live a long time. That means they can make good choices and bad choices and flip back and forth, which I think, you know, Star Wars could use, because we do get locked into that whole Luke would never do it because he made a decision once and he never makes any other kinds of decisions ever, you know, kind of thing. So
That's what kind of annoys me about the concept of Yoda that they've been selling in Acolyte. Is it's such an opportunity, not Acolyte, in the high Republic era. It's such an opportunity to depict Yoda as a different person. When you live 8 lifetimes, you can literally be 8 different people if you wanted to. Yeah.
But in the High Republic, he's the Jedi Master. He's one of the top Jedi Masters in the Order.
Yeah.
And that's a good. I mean, that's several hundred years before the original trilogy, or before the prequels even, right? That's a couple hundred years before the prequels. So, I mean, at 500 years old or something like that, maybe 600, 500, he is one of the top Jedi Masters in the whole Order. And I'm thinking, well, okay, Grogu's 50, he's got to get to, even if he doesn't get to like full adult, like functionality until say 250.
Yeah.
He's still got another 250 years to become a Jedi Master. So, I mean, yeah, that works, I suppose.
Yeah. I just see Grogu as the adorable symbol for all of us adult man babies out there. No. Yeah. So, in terms of, I kind of wanted to, uh, when it comes to the Boba Fett trailer yesterday, after your show came on, it was on, and then the Boba Fett trailer came right at the end. Did you think that was the strongest one they've done so far? What was your vibe on that trailer in general? Do you have a better appreciation for the potential of the series after it, or do you think it's more the same jazz?
I think it's more the same. The first trailer is the one that got me hyped. The ones after that have given me a little more. I don't know, flavors, but it's still primarily that first one that got me. This one didn't change anything as far as my excitement or expectations for the show. I feel like I think it's going to help. And I've said this before, 2022 is going to do a lot for the fandom because there's going to be a lot of content to talk about and not a lot of YouTube speculation, hype, made up BS.
Yeah.
There'll be plenty of that. Don't get me wrong. There'll be plenty of that. But
so long as Meg is there, we will no. Like
but there'll also be a lot of content to talk about, and the content will help balance some of that made up nonsense.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Like I honestly, I've had a fun time watching some of the I don't know, fakers or whatever slowly hang themselves, just dropping the rope down over and over and over again. We took the day off the other day, and me and Rob went through a bunch of stuff. He did a bunch of stuff. I found old research that I had done, and so one of the things I wanted to bring up was kind of a little fun fact segment, if you will, that I have here. And where did I put the one I wanted to talk about? I hope I didn't delete the one I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah. Wait, did I do it? I'm so dumb. Oh well. Anyways, here's one thing that I wanted that I mentioned it on the show, but this is from my notes and from I think somebody actually mentioned it in an article once, and then I knew that it was true. So apparently, during the filming of the Phantom Menace, Keira Knightley goes up to Natalie Portman, and they're on a break, and she's just like, "Hey, I'm so happy to work with you. It's a privilege." And Natalie, my notes say from a source, Natalie didn't give a shit, and essentially was rude to Keira Knightley, making her cry. It was basically like, I'm the star here, and you look like me. Get out of here. No, but that's what hers has made it sound like. So, anyways, Rick McCollum takes her aside, soothes her, says, "Hey, let's just get past this, move past this, and get on with the movie." And people are under a lot of stress. So that ends up being kind of how the day ended. So a little bit of time goes by, and Bruckheimer calls up McCollum, and as a professional courtesy, letting him know we're interested in Natalie Portman. And
for the Pirates.
For Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
And during the conversation, McCollum says, Bruckheimer, you might really want to look at Keira Knightley for the role. We wish we had cast Keira Knightley as Padme, and she was a delight to work with. And there you go. That was the opening of Keira Knightley ending up in the Pirates of the Caribbean, because Natalie Portman was kind of a little difficult to work with at times back then.
So also, George doesn't want Monkey Island in that fucking film anymore. So
Yeah,
You know.
and Monkey Island, the movie script for Monkey Island became Pirates of the Caribbean, and so you have like two connections to Pirates of the Caribbean, and
Monkey Island doesn't put out like it used to. It's just not
Yeah.
as dense. It's
Yeah,
not as
it's not.
dense as it used to.
Did you ever play that game, Santa? Did you ever get into
No.
that side of things? No. Yeah.
No,
He's
no.
more of a Defenders of Dynatron City kind of guy.
It's like what?
I can,
Oh my goodness! No,
Pipes.
I
like pipes, no
heard
violence.
that Natalie was a bit of a handful as well, and I think I heard that from you, and as well as several other.
Kenny Baker says that.
She's
From the
just
grave.
was not.
No, in real life though.
And I think she went on to Black Swan that kind of changed her career path. But yeah, that's that fits together with what other people have reported about her as well.
Yeah. Well,
she's also like
she was a kid then, though, too, which is why I think it's important to remember that Padme was like a 14-year-old in the movie, and I think she was maybe 15 or 16 when she was playing her. Probably, I want to say, maybe I'm wrong, but so she was still a kid back then, and like Kenny Baker said that they were out there in the desert, and she was just insufferable, just like complaining about it. He's like I'm in a barrel in the heat, and you're complaining about.
I've got 16 illegitimate children and I'm in a barrel. Shut up! Just shut up!
But yes, Natalie Portman is
I'm
perfect.
this big, but I'm full grown. I'll don't make me Sean Connery. No, I think too, her ability, her comedic timing has changed with the Marvel films, right? Like she's more open to be in like comedic situations than she was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And when you look at the Pirates movie, Natalie Portman at that time wasn't having a lot of fun in her roles. Everything was very, straightforward. And I think maybe
Star
once
Wars,
you win
like
the dramatic
V for Vendetta, she's like all emaciated and like shaving her head and like going through a lot for that role.
Well, and
And-
Black Swan's not exactly a light, cheerful movie.
No, you don't say. No, I know. You're sure.
it is if you're David Lynch. And you're like,
Listen,
I
saw Padme in that 70s show make out, and I was like, that was a love story, and it was beautiful. And
when the
I love
funnest
that.
thing you make is Twin Peaks. That's all I'm saying. So, so I have enjoyed watching her lighten up Francis, to quote one of my favorite 80s films. But at that time, you want an actress who's going to be able to parlay with Johnny Depp on screen, like trade quips, And I just, also, be careful about being a pain in the ass on set for anybody, in any role. I mean, Kirshner was saying in the Photo Archives book how it was miserable. And the minute you start complaining on the set, especially for the director, everyone's going to be miserable. So I just had to make humor. It's the same thing in basic training. Everyone's making jokes because otherwise, then one person complains and it's all downhill from there.
You want to hear something funny? I can tell you that a lot of Santa Clauses are divas. They have requirements. Like, I need to have this and this in the room, and I need to have a fan. I need to have this much water. It has to be exactly this temperature. No,
Santa, your agent needs to get a hold of Hallmark. I'm just telling you right now. You just pitched a whole series.
I had to send Santa a giant bag of green M&Ms when he would do the show.
No, I'm just saying. I knew one guy,
green from
one guy that I know who he would not go out on set unless he was escorted by police in a golf cart. Like he had, like he's walking through the mall and he has to have an escort of police, like taking Santa, like he's, I don't know.
Did Jay and Silent Bob beat him up like they beat up the Easter Bunny one time? And he's just
he thought that it made the presence that much better. Like, this, like having the Secret Service around you or something. Like these, and then what happens is the people on set get a reputation. Like, this guy is a diva. We don't want to work with him. Is there another Santa out there that could come?
I want to be. Kenny Baker's like, why didn't they come up with Santa's Secret Service when I was alive? I could have made so much cash. She's like, all right, everybody, he's okay. Let him in. You know what I mean?
Right?
I want the ongoing feud between Santa and the Sweet Factory. You know, I run this mall. I should get free candy.
So maybe
Right.
I want to throw it at you, Santa. What do you have any requirements?
No.
Do you have a Diva site at all?
No. The only thing I want is water. Because when you're talking to so many kids, you get dehydrated.
Yeah.
And wearing a full Santa suit inside is hot, and so water is important.
Protect
That's
against. Speaking of water, how do you protect against the pee? Is pee a thing? Is pee an issue?
It is an issue.
Candy canes are curved, my friend, for a reason.
so it's another reason why you want water while you're on set is you dehydrate yourself a little bit before.
Yeah.
So you're coming in dry.
No, I'm talking about the kids peeing on you.
Oh,
because like you put it on their lap, and then the kids are like, "Oh my God, it's Santa Claus!"
Jason, if only we could be Santa year round.
That has never happened to me personally.
Okay.
Although I've had a kid spit up. You know, that's toddlers do that, and that's why you have them facing away. The spit up goes away, but right. Still. You don't want that on you. But no, I have not had a kid wet themselves on my lap. That's not happened yet. Not yet.
All right. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Back in my day, my generation peed on people. I'm just saying. We did it all. There's an anxious puppy.
There's like a Santa watching this right now who's like, this guy's talking trash about my demands. He's never been peed on. Whatever, man.
A friend of mine had a kid follow him into the bathroom and crawl under the stall to talk to him.
Oh my God! No, no.
Devin Nunez?
No, man.
Again, the movie opportunities for like things that have happened are just endless.
Also, I'm just saying, Mallrats 2 needs to be set during Christmas. We got the Easter Bunny. We need the Santa Claus. Has to.
Yeah,
I waited 20 plus years for this.
Yeah, just like I don't know. I guess like just having like had 2 kids, I assumed that that was going to be a part of the life, so to speak. So
I just. Getting a reputation as a performer on a set amongst the community of folks who are familiar can cause you problems to getting another job or having other people come in. So unless you are in such demand that that does not impact your earnings,
right?
And so you get Natalie being a bit of a difficult situation. Well, was she starving for work? I think she did. I think she did okay.
Yeah. No. She made it work. I mean, and she essentially
thanks, capitalism,
right?
Yeah.
Was she denied a job? What are we saying here? She wasn't. We're just saying, be nice, Santa. You certainly.
I know.
Was she on the naughty list that year? You telling me? Well, not by my standards, because she was earning book. Thanks. Sorry.
No, I mean, when it comes to Natalie Portman and Star Wars specifically, it is important to remember that she was still a kid. You know what I mean? It wasn't like. I mean, I imagine who you thought you were when you were a teenager. I was in bands. I remember being insufferable, and my bandmates being insufferable. And if that band had been Star Wars, then forever people would be documenting when we were teenage assholes. Essentially.
And someone told her she was gonna get to eventually bone DiCaprio in the sequel, and then they got other guy.
They got the Canadian. They got the Canadian.
For
it was like, hey, I'm gonna touch your back, eh? And she was like, no, let ILM do it. Thanks.
Life is an NDA, motherfucker, not a house.
At Celebration 2, man, I was talking to it was Celebration. Was it 2? No, it was Celebration 3. I met somebody who worked at ILM. We were out drinking and having a good time. I'm like in my early 20s then. And and it's like I was totally supposed to ask for her phone number, but I chickened out because I was a little coward. And then me and my best friend stayed out drinking the whole rest of the night, and we get up early, go to the next day of Star Wars Celebration, and I run into her, and she's like, "You want to know some stuff like about the movie?" I'm like, "Yeah." She like starts telling me like all of the story about how, Vader's hands were up like this in the trailer for Revenge of the Sith. And then they had to put him down, and she was like telling me about how they like went through the process of that and stuff. And she's like, yeah, so like what are you guys doing later? And like that's my in right there. What are you guys doing later? As she says it, vomit is coming up and up and through, and I'm like, I'll be right back. And it's right around the corner. And a trash made it to a trash can, like, blah, and then totally ruined that. But
so sorry.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. No, I'm being serious. I have a lot of I remember in the 6th grade, I grew a pair. I'm like, I'll go to the dance. I don't know why. I'll go to this dance, junior high, right? First day, I'll go to the dance, and I'm not doing well. And my neighbor, who was an 8th grader, brought me a friend to dance. She said, "Hey, she'll dance with you." And I'm like, and I ran to a bathroom and hid for 20 minutes until
really?
And then I left. Yeah, like that. And I'll never forget. Like that's every time I see defending your life, I'm like, I gotta defend this fucking moment. I'm gonna have to answer for this one. It was not a good day.
Yeah.
I was the other side of that in middle school or junior high at the time. I was invited to a friend of mine's another school to be a blind date for a girl. And I show up, we meet, and then she had to go, and I never saw her again.
Fun times.
And I'm standing around like, I don't know any of these people. This is my school. I'm like 13 years old. I know nobody.
Yeah.
Not good.
Secrets.
Have you ever done a blind date, Rob?
A blind date. I mean, in that there used to be a point in like 2003 or 4 when you met people on the internet, you didn't really know them. There wasn't like you didn't have like profiles too much, right?
No Facebook yet. MySpace kind of.
Yeah, not really. It was just one of these like weird Yahoo thing. I remember going on this date. She said she was an architect student, so I'm like, oh, we'll have something to talk about. Buildings, because I'm a fan of architecture, whatever. I picked this girl up. Nice. She had the models. She was being legit. And we go to shoot darts, right? And
she's wearing a pantsuit?
She's way not into me. She's into this other guy who's there, and he comes over to start shooting darts, and so I just left him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, he could take you home. I don't, that was, I don't know what happened after that because I just left. I took back the conch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I walked out. I'm like, you guys are having a great time. I don't need to be a part of this. So that I don't regret. My wife, I told her that story, and she goes, I can't believe you left her. She could have been. I'm like, she's at a public place, like she can get a cab. It's a bar. Like, nah, it was a pretty safe environment.
Yeah.
But that's the closest thing to a blind date. I don't know people, bro. I draw. Like my whole life has been making excuses about why I can't do things because I'm stuck. Like when I was a kid, it's because my father wouldn't let me do anything. And as an adult, it's because I draw and I can't do anything. Like, if I had to go into a studio, I would never do this shit. I don't got time for that. Like whatever.
Yeah.
So what's your blind date story, Jason?
My blind date story is a friend of mine's like, oh, you should meet this person. I think you guys would like each other and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm don't want to do it. I'm like, I don't want to. And then I end up getting on a speaker call and joking around. And then she starts after that DMing me. And it seems okay. It's like a good time. But we go out and we have sushi and all that stuff, and it's fine, and we're drinking and stuff. And then to skip to the end game of it, it's the next day. it was a good night. I had a good time. It was a very good night. But we're in her bed, and she says, "What are your thoughts on Vladimir Putin?" I swear. And I'm like,
you open up her closet, it's all tracksuits. Like, what?
No, and I'm like, yeah, and then she proceeds to talk about how unfair Steve Bannon is treated in the media, and
they set you up.
Yeah,
they were trying to get you, man. They were trying to get.
No,
I believe that's real.
My buddy was like, I had no idea she was a fascist.
Sure. I mean, she wore red all the time and promoted capitalism. Oh my God!
Yeah.
I saw where that was coming, Rob. I was like, hey, oh no, too late.
No. Let go! Santa's almost got me! He's got me! I'm on to him!
Yeah, I was kind of like, you know, I didn't talk about politics at all, like during the actual date the night before, and then for a minute she started getting kind of fun. She was like, what do you think about MK Ultra, because it's real? And I'm like, yeah, that stuff's crazy, you know. And then but I don't really think about it, you know, too much. And then
lizard people.
Yeah, and then it started to go, you know, I started to see, I was like, oh, this is just not going to work.
Listen here, people. Everyone knows Santa's a government psyop from the Nordic regions. It's an Eastern European project, North Pole Woods.
It's the Palladian agenda, the Nordic race of aliens.
Thought of North Pole Woods. Come on.
Yeah.
It's a plan to hijack a set of reindeer, all the toys in the world, and crash them into Cuba.
Yeah.
All those UFO sightings have just
Cuba
been
for
reindeer
nothing. It's a
training
coup.
sessions.
Reindeer training.
Yeah, they're out pulling the sleigh.
Reindeer Games was actually written by MK Ultra converts for Ben Affleck to take over the.
I want footage of Santa trying to train reindeer to do the Al Qaeda monkey bars.
I remember when I was in the army, it was like, I want to say 2000, 2001. I was watching the BBC news, and they had this expose. It was 2000. They had this expose on Al Qaeda, whatever.
Al-Qaeda.
They had this thing on Al Qaeda, and they were all in, like, I remember they were wearing like black with yellow, black with red, and they're going around the monkey bars. And I'm like, this is right out of American Ninja. Remember when he goes to the ninja training camp and they all got different colored ninja suits?
No, and dude, I wasn't lying that one time. When the people who made that hired Billy Zane to be in a movie, and they made an anti-American propaganda film using
Are
Billy
you thinking
Zane.
then, are you thinking that thing that happened 10 years later where they put out like a whole video? They actually
2002. 2002.
Because there was those other guys 10 years later that were put out that it was like that Zeitgeist kind of movie, but it was filmed out of Thousand Oaks with Israeli or crazy.
No, this was like 2002 to 2005 era, probably like 2002 2003 most likely. It was like during the height of the early Middle Eastern wars that we were having, you know. But anyways, yeah, that was crazy.
Project
but
North Pole.
I now that we have devolved into the time I made sweet love to fascism, I think we'll call it a show. And thank you, Santa, for coming in and hanging out with us, and for not putting Rob in the corner too much, not telling him that he's been a bad boy. And
the Blair Santa story. Get in the corner, Rob. Get in the corner. Oh.
Yeah, but always great to have you on, dude. And like whenever,
I had a good time.
Yeah, whenever you're free and you want to come on, open invite. I get never get enough hanging out with Star Wars Santa. And on Mondays, me and Santa over on his channel at Star Wars Santa, which you should subscribe to if you haven't. We do a show on Monday, usually analyzing something, and he lets me take it down to a snail's pace, and we sift every little detail, and it takes forever to get anything done. But we got
Also-
nothing but time.
Don't forget to join Santa at the Chinese Man Theater, waiting for the resurrection of Gary Kurtz to save us all from.
No.
Yeah. GoFundMe/Santa Kurtz is coming back. Is coming to town. Sorry, Santa Kurtz is coming to town, and then
Yeah, but if you have any sympathy for elves, or that's your thing at all, it might not be the
No.
channel for you. But
That might not be. No.
But honestly, if you've ever known an elf, they really are little punks. So, but yeah. So anyways, and thanks to everyone who is a Patreon supporter and a supporter of the show on the youtube.com machine. And
unless they've been playing elves for 40 years.
Right. Yeah.
And they're really demanding.
But make sure if you guys need a Santa for your kids or weird adult, whichever. Hey, do you ever have adults? Did you ever have adults who are like not like a Star Wars friend kind of thing? Do you ever have an adult who's like, Santa, I want to tell you, I'm really just want my dad back.
I've got stories.
Okay,
I've got stories.
Maybe it's not fair to put you on the spot with that. I apologize.
That should be your book, your memoir. It's you in that outfit. I got stories. That's the fucking book.
No, there are Santa enthusiasts of all different types. So some are very just like, I love Christmas. Adults who want a picture with Santa because they just love Christmas. And then there are Santa enthusiasts of a whole different flavor.
Okay. I'm gonna let the imagination fill that one in. But yeah, and then we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If I am not late for some reason, like I was today by about 10 minutes, but I think I'll be on time tomorrow. I said to edit that video. But and thanks to everyone who hung out with us in the chat. We were having a lively conversation today, and I feel like I ignored you guys way too much. But tomorrow, if nothing's going on, we'll just have a ping pong match with the chat. We'll really get into it, you guys. And so thanks to everybody, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas resurrection. Kurtzmas
Christmas
resurrection.
back. Stop trying to say that.
He's coming back.